Ouch. Good evening, everybody. This is Monday, December 17th, regular city council meeting for the city of Tega, South Carolina. Will you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Tim, did you catch up? I forgot to get the high sign from Tim. I just jumped right at it. All right, first we'll start with item 1, a joint public hearing with the Planning Commission. Chris Leonard, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this point, we'll open a public hearing regarding amendment to the Stonecrest PDD residential high-density development standards applicable to all such land use areas identified as age-restricted communities. And Susan Brett, I think you're going to brief us on that, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The current property owners of parcel number 64411011111, designated as the courtyards at Tega K on the Development Master Plan, and it is zoned currently as PDD RHD, which is residential high density. They petitioned the city to amend the Stonecrest Plan Development District development standards to permit and regulate age-restricted communities as a designated use in residential high-density districts. The Planning Commission has been reviewing that and has developed and have some specific development standards applicable. Examples of these will include occupation of units limited to those 55 and older, with some outlined exemptions based on housing and urban development standards, development and publication of declaration of covenants and restrictions, and policies and procedures, including rules for verification of occupancy, and construction to include minimum accessibility features per the Fair Housing Accessibility Standards. So I'll be glad to answer any questions, or we can.
I think first we'll open it up for any public comment. If there's anyone who wants to make any public comment or ask questions, please come to the podium, state your name and address. There's no public comment. Any commissioners' questions or comment? Any council questions or comment?
Yeah, I have a question. So Larry had brought up a good point right previous to the meeting starting regarding what happens if 20 years from now the age restriction folks that have purchased the home have moved on and now perhaps deeded it to younger family members, and then they are now the owners of that home. What are the things, the steps that we can take either as a city to kind of regulate that, overcome those issues in the future? I believe Susan maybe had mentioned something about the HOA, and we can request that they put it in their CCRs. Is that right?
They have,
Yes,
go ahead.
they have, thank you. Yes, they have to publish those declaration of covenants, and they have to be approved not by York County. That's one of the requirements that we put in the zoning development standards because of the exemption on impact fees for the school district. So 20 years from now, you know, who's to know what's going to happen, but if for any occurrence where they're in violation of the zoning standards, there can be fines, and then also there's the civil action with the homeowners association, because those are in the covenants.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anything else?
Nothing seen, nothing heard.
All right, then I think we will close the public hearing and we'll adjourn to our special meeting.
Thank you, Chris. All right, before we start with item number 2, I'd like to make a change to the agenda. I'd like to table item 7E and F, the introduction of the first reading of an amendment to Stonecrest Plan PDD and the introduction of a first reading to an ordinance to relinquish any rights the city of Tega to provide water and sewer, which is inside the city limits. Any questions on tabling it for a further date? Yep. In fact, I'm making a motion to table it for a later date. Do I have a second? Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, now we'll go to item number 2, special presentation. The TK Fire Department certificates for story time volunteers. Chief Szymanski, you have the podium, sir.
This has been a new program, pilot program for the fire department.
Is that on? Oh, mic drop.
Didn't know I was that quick, did you?
No, I didn't. You didn't either.
All right, this has been a pilot program for the fire department. We do it 4 months? Started August 23rd. Great success. We're looking forward next year. Saturday was our last story time. We had Santa come, cookies. It was well received. I've gotten 5 calls today already when the next story time is, so it'll be next year, obviously. We're going to sit down and revamp the program, make it a little better, try to enhance it a little bit, and see if we can get more residents involved. And we'd love to have council and mayor come anytime. It's great. We're going to turn it over to Fernando. We had some volunteers that helped us out, and we wanted to recognize them.
All right, very good.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you guys, first and foremost, for allowing us to do this.
Thank you.
Again, I am Firefighter Diaz, and I am a firefighter with the Tega Fire Department, and this is honestly an honor and a pleasure to be able to announce a couple of volunteers. It was a pilot program, and it turned out to be a great success. Like Chief said, we are in the process of revamping it and trying to make it all-inclusive for all ages and adults as well. It is more than a story. It's more than an outreach. It's, you know, education, and it's about the community. Truly, you know, what we do is a service for you guys. We cannot do what we do without y'all. And it's a privilege to be in the position that we are, and it's really an honor to be able to extend that opportunity into education, just outreach. You know, we're here for you, and all together we make a community. And honestly, from the fire department, we have to say thank you. You know, and it's really a pleasure to be giving these certificates out. Hopefully, next year, we see more of you guys out there. We had a great success. I think approximately 215 people since August, and you know, hopefully we tailor it and have themes every single time like we have been able to do. But without further ado, I'd like to recognize a couple of the volunteers that we've had. Let me see. First, it is going to be yours, Chief. Thank you. Tatum Page. She's actually, her mom just messaged me. She said they are at she is a middle school, I believe 7th grader from Gold Hill Middle, and they're actually at a basketball game right now. So she cannot make it, but I will make sure that she receives it. And Tatum Page, I met over the summer with a couple of her friends. I don't know if you guys were following the city's pages. A bunch of the kids will come out and come to the firehouse, always say hello. They be playing at the park. They come by and knock and ask for water. And earlier in the year, the fire department, we reached out to Nalgene. We got a couple of water bottles, and it was actually because of Tatum's friends that we just said, hey, you guys are always up here. You guys are always using the styrofoam cups. How about we give you something reusable that you guys can recycle? And Nalgene was courteous enough to donate, I believe it was approximately 50 water bottles. But Tatum started that, and she and her friends continued to come by, get water, stop by. We'd go out there and just interact with them. It's phenomenal because they get to see us in a different light. You know, when the community calls 911, it's typically could be one of the worst days of their lives. So we get to meet them in a pretty bad scenario. And on that day, on the worst day, we have to be having our best day to perform exceptionally. And it's cool to have these kids come up to the firehouse and be able to meet us when we're just in regular uniform. We don't have any of the gear on. We don't have any of the masks on. And for that, I'm so happy and excited to be able to be part of this city, this fire department, this community. And Tatum, she has honestly a special place in my heart, along with all her little friends, because they always come up there and they challenge us. They say, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" "Well, we're about to wash the truck." "Well, can we help?" "Here you go. Come on, let's do this." So Tatum Page was one of our volunteers, and her mom also. If you don't mind, Chief, let's see. Nicole Page comes out as well. And again, Tatum's dad actually works for the city. Chip Page and Nicole, they was awesome little family, and we cannot thank them enough. So it was Nicole Page, Tatum Page, and who else do we have, Chief? Emma Grace, of course. Emma Grace Fonderberg, the city manager's daughter. I would like to say thank you. Emma I actually met over the Camp Cadet program, and she is funny. She is really, really funny, and it's been an honor to kind of, again, meet with all the kids in the community, the adults,
A comedian?
the parents, and the kids are my favorite. And she is awesome. She came out actually for the very first one. She was the first one to volunteer to hand out the snacks. And the volunteers, what they do for us is actually essential, because while I get the privilege of reading, I'm just reading a book. The support that I have comes from the volunteers. It comes from the firefighters that set it all up. They set up the chairs, they set up the tables, they make sure everything's clean and pristine. But we need somebody to help us out with handing out snacks, make sure that we have a roll call, and everything goes according to plan. And for that, I have to say thank you. Absolutely, thank you.
That's why we invite her all the time.
Yeah, but I believe we have a couple more, so I'll try to be concise, short and sweet. And this one, it's actually an honor to present too, because a lot of the brains of the operation for me, they're not my ideas, to be honest. They're not just alone Chief's ideas. We have to have somebody in the background helping us out significantly, and this is actually my wife, Jenna Diaz. Come on up, hon. So, oftentimes, we go to the bookstore or order online a book. We look, and she is the one saying, "Hey, kids really like this one. Kids really react well to this one." And she gives me the ideas like, "Hey, we should make some stations. Hey, we should have events. Hey, you should have some guest speakers." Obviously, this is a pilot, and it was a huge success. And some of these ideas that we've had have actually not been mine. I just read the book. I have an easy job. Mine's really easy, and I just gotta say thank you, Jenna, for helping me out with that, because she is a teacher in the Rockville School District, so she kind of has a leg up, honestly, and I am honored to be able to have somebody like that in my corner to back me and support me and use ideas to pass along to the chief and to the firefighters and make it all happen. So Jenna Diaz, thank you. Okay, copy. So last but not least, we had one more that constantly showed up through many of these, and smile every single time. She did a lot, and for that I am grateful. Again, it's the volunteers. It's early in the morning. 9 o'clock is pretty early in the morning. They've had a long week, whether it be the kids doing homework all week, they want to sleep in, watch cartoons, or the adults having to work all week. It's Saturday morning. You kind of want to sleep in, have a cup of coffee, have some breakfast, and the volunteers come out every Saturday consistently. And this one is kind of cool, because it's kind of like the mother of the fire department. It's actually Chief's wife. She comes out. It's Mama Chief. Sylvia Sebastian. We gotta say thank you, honestly.
How come she doesn't have to come up here and get her picture taken?
Yeah, come on out. Oh yeah.
Just shake her hand or something,
She printed it out herself.
Surprise. I had no idea. I printed it up myself. I didn't think they really do it.
Thank you guys. That's honestly all that I can say from the fire department for myself. Thank you, council. Thank you. We're here because of y'all. You guys allowed this to happen. Mr. Funberg, thank you.
Thank you.
We've already gotten 5 calls today. He wanted it story time. We don't really know it. So, look, hopefully everybody come out. Emma Grace this Saturday was in charge of hot chocolate, and she was heavy-handed on the whipped cream, which was great. She did a great job. Tatum came, she did a great job. Her mom came. Just wonderful people. All part of the city. Thank you. Thank you.
I swear I'm going to fall over that step one of these days. Okay, recently, as many of you know, we've just had an announcement that we're having a, can you hear me better now? That we're having a, what's it called exactly? I get this mixed up. You're not up yet. We're going to do somebody else first.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. Yeah, we're going to, because I missaid it the other day, we're going to do a, we're going to get an all-play park, sports park. Inclusive park, that's what the letter I was missing out. It's going to come here as soon as we raise a few more funds. We're almost there. We're about 75% now. Is that correct? 70%. So we're close. The all-inclusive park is so that all kids can play together, no matter what your physical needs are. Everybody gets to play together, and it'll be one of the first ones in this region. And we're going to put it in Trailhead Park, where we have a park there now, but we're going to do a magnificent upgrade. And Lori Christensen and her group have picked Tega to bring the park to. So to get over the hump, so to speak, and raising funds, John Weinbrenner, who does a fantastic job at our restaurant, the Shore Club, allowed us to play one day. And we were, all of us up here were bartenders and waitresses and waiters. And I have a new appreciation for that job. I was on my feet for 5 or 6 hours straight. Every time I said I was going to take a break for a minute, they just looked at me. We don't take breaks here. But I hope you didn't lose any money because I was making some pretty good drinks there. I'm not a bartender by profession, so if they said
You are now.
rum and Coke, I put rum and I put Coke.
Okay, so I did lose money.
You didn't lose money off me. But I think we have a special presentation for you to, Lori, do you want to come up? And if anybody you want to bring up with you is fine.
Come on, girls, you were all here that night.
All the blue shirts. In fact, most of you all of you there, or most of you were there, helping out with everything and doing everything. Oh boy, we got a whole crew here. So Lori, or John, if you want to speak, or Lori.
Yeah, we just wanted to present you with this check. It was $450. It's a percentage of sales that evening, okay? And I do want to say that council and the mayor donated their time, and they were really great about promoting this event, and I think they came close to even matching what we are giving based on the tips that you made, right? Yeah, well, hey, wait a minute. Where did that money go? No, I'm kidding. But anyway, it was fantastic. It was great for the community. Like Fernando says, I don't think everybody realized what a great city Tega is. When people get behind something here, they really get behind it. And I hope everybody appreciates that.
Well, we want to thank you very much. It was a fun evening, and we certainly enjoy it when everybody has a great time at a fundraiser. That's the whole point, is that, we get together and support a good cause and raise money for the inclusive playground. And we can't thank you enough for your generosity and the opportunity that you gave us to raise some money, and also to the city council and the mayor. They all had smiles on their faces the whole evening, and certainly acted like they were enjoying themselves. And it was a huge success, and we certainly appreciate your help and your support of the playground.
Sure. And let me know if we need to do it again in the spring.
Certainly.
If you're getting close, let's do it again.
I'd like to make a motion that we do that again.
Second.
So thank you
I enjoyed most of it.
All right, we'll go to item number 3, public comments. Nobody signed up, but if anybody came late, do they have any public comments? I'll allow, if somebody wants to make a public comment, going once, going twice, no public comments. Item number 4 is approval of minutes. Council, have you had time to read the minutes from last week? Are there any additions, deletions, or changes?
No.
Hearing none, seeing none, the minutes stand as printed. Item 5 is committee reports. First is the Planning Commission with Alicia Dash.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor. So just wanted to give a quick update on everything that happened at our last meeting. We held a regular Planning Commission meeting on December 3rd. What we did at that meeting was a final review and recommendation to proceed on an update to the Stonecrest PDD, which would establish age-restricted housing as a permitted use. We also continued to review the process to be followed to update the comprehensive master plan. And this is really important to start paying attention to, because we will be having focus groups so that we can get the community's input and get them involved in this process and make sure we are planning for our future in the direction that residents in our community want to go into. The kickoff for that meeting is planned for February. There will be a joint workshop with council and the Planning Commission, but that date is to be determined still. We also briefly updated the draft of the bike pedestrian master plan, which includes now 2 additional action strategy items. One, to improve visibility of trails in the system. One example was some lesser known trails that folks in the community knew about, but that we didn't have documented on the trail. And then the second was to establish a master plan for TK Drive improvements. So if at one point in time or some point in the future we were to gain full ownership of TK Drive, we want to have a master plan that supports the elements that we want to see, such as bike lanes and things like that. Another item was the discussion of the PDD starting point checklist for staff. And then finally, they wrapped up discussion on accessory dwellings with really a consensus that they didn't recommend any further action at this time. So we won't be seeing that come to council. With that really wraps up that meeting. Just to let everyone know in the community, our next meeting is planned for January 7th at 6:30 p.m. here in this building, in this room. So we encourage you to come and participate and learn everything you can. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Alicia. Any questions of Alicia?
No.
All right, move on to item 5B, TK Forever Foundation with Heather Over.
Okay, so really quickly, this was a brief meeting. Basically, the TK Forever Foundation is just really ramping up for the business gala that they're going to be doing in March. The date for that is March 7th. It'll be held here in the Glennon Center upstairs. So they're just kind of ironing out the details for that. Invitations, guest speakers, what are we going to be doing for our guests, things like that. And so that's going to be all the local businesses, larger corporations in the area. We're going to invite them so that they can become a part of Catawba Park, our little theme. And this isn't solidified yet, but come make your mark on the park, because we want their involvement and their participation. So obviously, if anybody wants to write a check, we're also taking that. Donations, or I'll put a tip jar up here for afterwards. But yeah, we're starting to work on Catawba Park and bringing in funding for that. So we'll be working on that for the next couple of months until that happens in early March. And our next meeting, it also happens at the same time as the Planning Commission. So if you're really torn, you're going to have to choose one or the other. We'll be also January 7th at 6:30, and we meet at City Hall.
Thank you. Is there any questions of Heather? Sounds like we might need to be bartenders and waitresses and waiters about every week or every month or so. Start raising some money. Maybe we'll be at Uber's or something on New Year's Eve. I got enough to do already. Okay, let's move to item number 6, unfinished business. This is the second reading of an amendment to Ordinance 77, small wireless facilities. The Planning Commission has proposed an amendment to Ordinance 77, which is our zoning code, to include Article 18, small wireless facilities. At our last council meeting, council gave a favorable first reading to this amendment. Are there any questions, since we passed this once before? All right, I'll consider a motion.
Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the second reading of an amendment to Ordinance 77, small wireless facilities.
I have a motion from Alicia Dash. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from the Mayor Pro Tem. Are there any questions? Are there any questions from the audience about this? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. Item 6B on the agenda is the second reading of an ordinance to annex approximately 1.1 acres identified as TMS 654000013 and rezone it from AGC in the county to park in the city.
I'll read it. You can. Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the second reading of an ordinance to annex approximately 1.11 acres identified as TMS number 654-00-00-013 and rezone it from AGC in the county to park in the city.
I have a motion from Heather Roman. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Alicia. Y'all don't jump at the same time. Are there any questions? Are there any questions from the audience? Just so you'll know, this is an annexation of land that we already own, and this is going to be part of our new Catawba Park. So we're just annexing park land. It'll be our 4th ball field. Is that correct, Charlie? So we're getting another ball field. Now all we need is the money to build it. So we have the land. Anybody want to donate the money, we'll be glad to take it. Yeah, we'll have to be doing a lot of bartending. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. Let's go to some new business with item 7. Let me catch up on the computer here. I see we have no Panther fans out here because everybody's here not watching the game.
It doesn't start till 8:15.
Oh, that's good. Hurry up.
15
Okay,
minutes.
let's
We
start
still
some new
got
business.
time.
Item 7A. Adoption of a new 2019, I've already said it. 2019 schedule of regular county meetings. By law, the city is required to post the 2019 council meeting dates and send it to the media. We have proposed I think it's the 3rd Monday of every month except for January, which is going to be the 2nd, and because it's a holiday there, and
The second
somebody's going
Monday.
on vacation.
Second Monday.
So I'm sorry, what did I say?
Just the second.
It'd be the 2nd Monday in January, and then on February is Martin Luther King Day, President's Day. It's President's Day, so we'd have to move that to a Tuesday. So for 10 months, it'll be the 3rd Monday of the month, and for January and February, it will be the 2nd Monday and then the 3rd Tuesday. If that's crystal clear. Did I get that right? Yep. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2019 schedule of regular council meetings.
I have a motion from Alicia Dash. Do I have a second? I have a second from Gus Machinas. Any questions from the audience or comments? Hearing none. Time to vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? None. Published. 6B, resolution approving lease purchase agreement.
7, me.
Item 7B is a resolution approving the lease purchase of police, TCUD, and public works equipment. This resolution is necessary to move forward with the purchase of patrol cars for TK Police Department, a pipe camera system for TK Utilities District, and maintenance trucks and equipment for public works and stormwater. These items were presented to council during the budget presentation and adoption. The resolution being considered is a requirement of the lending institutions. These items will not impact the fiscal year 18 and 19 budgets. The financing was put out for bid, and who was the lowest bidder? SunTrust was the lowest qualified responsive bidder. All equipment is being purchased under state contract pricing. Clear as mud. Is there any questions about this new business? Are there any comments from the audience before we vote? Well, first I better consider a motion. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'd make a motion to approve the resolution approving the lease purchase of police, TCUD, public works, and stormwater vehicles and equipment not to exceed $533,000, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents related to these acquisitions.
I have a motion from Gus Muccinas. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Heather Overman. Now, are there any comments? $533. All right, it's time to vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. Somebody wants to watch football. Item 7C is approval of Cadence Phase 1 Map 1 credit, letter of credit reduction. The engineer for Mattamy Carolina Corporation has submitted a request for reduction in the original surety for the completion of the infrastructure for Cadence Map 1. The original letter of credit issued May 15, 2017 was in the amount of $469,543.75. The new amount requested is $112,000, $31.25, which constitutes a reduction of $375,512.50. The city engineer has reviewed the estimate and has found that the reduced amount is appropriate for the completion of the remaining site development work. The city attorney has reviewed and approved a revised performance, labor, and material surety agreement for this reduction. Are there any questions or comments? None? I'll entertain a motion. Who wants to read that one?
Mayor and members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve letter of credit reduction for Cadence Phase 1, Map 1.
I have a motion from Alicia Dash. Do I have a second? Second from Gus Muccinas. Are there any questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll vote now. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. We're going to D, which is Chris Leonard.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, the the Planning Commission has voted in favor of recommending approval for the amendment to the Stonecrest PDD RHD development standards applicable to age-restricted housing.
Thank you very much. All right, since we have tabled 7E and F, we'll go right to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Real quick, city office holiday hours. City Hall will be open for a half day on Monday on New Year's Eve. We'll be closed on the 25th and 26th for Christmas. Return back on the 27th, regular hours. Open on New Year's Eve, but we'll be closed on New Year's Day. Those holidays do not affect our trash and recycling schedule, so everything should be fine there. Remember, just a reminder to council, the 2019 Catawba Regional Elected Officials Forum on Thursday, January 3rd from 4:30 to 6. I think 3 of y'all have confirmed to Sylvia that you'll be going, so that's great. It's been a busy month of activities. We had a great turnout despite the weather at our annual tree lighting. Had a few hundred folks show up in the rain and cold to watch Fort Mill High School Chorus perform and then visit with Santa. Thank you to all that donated the cookies for the event and to the fire department for the hot chocolate. I think one of the biggest highlights that night, at least for me personally, was watching Mayor O'Neill let our friends Logan and Jesse help light the tree. I thought that was really awesome. Special thanks to Joey Blethen, our Parks and Recreation Director, for organizing this event and really all of our community events the whole year. Our police department had held their annual tree lighting tour. I think it was the following Thursday. Had a little over 250 people came out. It was the same night that Shore Club did their All Play Together event, and everybody had a great time at that. So thank you to Sergeant Burns, Chief Parker, and our folks at the police department for organizing another great event there. This past Saturday, as everybody's aware, the fire department held their final story time for the kids. And it was very, very well attended, as they all have been. And I believe this Saturday, is it this Saturday? No, it's this Saturday. Santa's going to be coming back to town. Fire department's going to be chauffeuring him around. Parents, don't bring your kids up to the fire station. Nobody will be there. Just be patient. He'll be coming around and will not leave until he hits all the streets. So that's always a fun treat every year when they do that. In addition to, since this is our last meeting of the year, In addition to Mr. Blethen and our chiefs, I'd also like to thank Lacey Armstrong, our marketing and communications manager, for her behind-the-scenes work in promoting all of our events and sharing the photos on social media and just keeping people in the know regarding things in TGK. Lacey took that position over in June. In that time, we've added over 1,000 more followers to Facebook, to the city's Facebook. 543 more folks following us on Instagram, but I'm told the kids now just call it Insta these days. I'm not really sure what that's about. 190 more Twitter followers. In addition to that, we picked up another 386 more followers on our Parks and Rec, and 649 on the PD's Insta account. She manages all those outlets for us in addition to Channel 115, our website, and now writes the Rewind each week. To say we've needed this position for a while is probably an understatement. And really what it tells me is if you don't know what's going on in TGK, you basically have to not want to know. So I want to thank her for all her efforts there. Back on the back wall, back over here. Thank you, Lacey. Yes.
Stand up and take a bow. Take a bow.
On the back wall, back over here, we have a new addition to the council chamber. Sam McDonald, which a lot of folks may not know, Sam was one of our past mayors, passed away a few years ago. The U.S. House did a resolution in her honor for her service, and her kids have had that, and her son came by a few weeks ago, said he would like for us to have it, so Katie took it, had it matted and reframed and everything, so we could place it here in the council chambers. I thought that was really awesome that her family shared that with us, so we could hang it up here for everybody to be able to see. So, if you get a chance, stop by and look at that. I thought that was really neat that they did that. Every year at our holiday luncheon, we recognize an employee of the year, one administrative, one employee. And one field employee and a department head of the year. All of our staff did an amazing job this year, which is no surprise. They worked tirelessly to keep our city looking great and making it such a wonderful place to live. This year, we recognize Shanae Carruthers, our senior utility billing clerk, and Jeremy Hutchison, crew foreman in Public Works, as our employees of the year, and Chief Steve Parker as our department head of the year. All three go above and beyond on a continual basis for our city and our organization. They work long hours, including nights, weekends, and sometimes holidays when necessary, to make sure the job gets done. They are all willing to lend a hand to their fellow employees, both in their department and other departments. And on behalf of Katie and I can't thank them enough for their efforts this past year. Very well-deserved honors there. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank you, City Council. And I hate that Councilman Richard is not here, but this year's gone by very, very fast. It's hard to believe that we're finishing our first year with you and the team. You have sacrificed a lot of your time away from your families for the betterment of our city, and you should be recognized for it. You've done a lot of work that most don't see, and that work will pay tremendous dividends for our city in the future. Merry Christmas to you and your families, and have a safe and happy New Year. I, for one, am looking forward to what 2019 and beyond have in store for us. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
We'll now go to council comments. We'll start with Councilwoman Alicia Dash.
Okay, I just want to give a shout out to All Play Together. I never realized back in the day when I had to bartend to make my way through school how much fun it really is. And all these years later, I got the opportunity to do so, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you for that opportunity, and put me down for any other opportunities in the future. So thanks again, and I'm glad that we raised so much for you guys. I'd also like to give a shout out about the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. It was a lot of fun. The choir was amazing. They really did a great job, and I appreciate everything that the city did to prepare for that and get that ceremony together and all the work that was there. So thank you, Charlie and Joey. I know had a lot to do with that too. It has been a great year. It's been an honor to serve. I've learned a lot this year, and so I just want to mention that my gratitude for this opportunity, and I look forward to 3 more years of doing so. And then lastly, I'll just say that I can't wait to see Santa on the fire truck on Saturday. One of my favorite things.
Gus, you got anything?
I too want to say, Christmas around here this season has been almost like, 4th of July. It's just a wonderful place to live, and we had so many great activities, and it was fun being a part of it. I don't want everybody to forget, All Play Together. We've 70% of the way there, I think, was the number thrown out a while ago. So there's still a long ways to go, and I also will volunteer to do anything else that you would like to do to help put this thing together. I guess this is the end of my first year as a council person after my landslide victory of 9 votes. Thank you for the 9 if any of them you're out there. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a learning experience. I too am honored to have been able to serve. I think we've made a lot of great decisions and things that are gonna help our city for many years to come. Other than that, Merry Christmas to everyone. Safe travels. There'll be a lot of people on the road. So once again, Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Gus. Heather, you got anything?
Yeah, so also, when I go last or almost last, I guess everybody kind of steals your thunder, so it's not as exciting. So thank you to All Play Together. I want to give a shout out to Laura Saunders. She's still in the audience. She's the one that hung around. Laura has been doing an excellent job. She has been doing all of the tile paintings that are going to go into the playground. She has been doing pretty much all of the fundraising. So anything you see, they did the Sensory Santa. She's was the one who did the short, got the Shore Club organized. So all of the work that you see that they're doing, she's really kind of spearheading that. So she deserves some credit for that. Rounding out the year, I feel like we've accomplished quite a bit in our short time already, even though it did fly by. I'm really looking forward to 2019. I think a lot of what we've done this year is we're going to start to see some of the fruits of our labors going into next year. I really want to give a shout out to all of our staff. While I only get to kind of interact with the administrative staff, the people that work for our city really put their heart and soul into working here. They work these long hours. They're here tonight. Some of them are here tonight instead of home with their families. And so they deserve a lot of credit for making this place tick. They really, really do a great job. And happy holidays to everybody. I hope you enjoy your Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is that you celebrate.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for coming out. A lot of people talk about getting involved with their city council, but you guys come out and watch and stay informed and tell everybody what we're doing here. We try to put it out as much as we can. We've got Lacey to help us out doing it. I don't know if anybody's got any ideas of how we can put the word out better, let us know, because we're always looking for ways to improve our communication with everybody. So, but I appreciate you guys coming out. Sometimes we look out there and there's a bunch of empty chairs. Of course, our 6th council member is always here. Walt's always here. We appreciate Walt and his guidance and supervision over us. I just want to thank this council. Everybody up here but me is brand new, and I'm just 2 years old in comparison, 3 years old now. But they've really stepped up to the plate and learned how to do this real fast. They ask a lot of great questions, and they always have the city's best interest in mind. So I appreciate them for putting their name on the line and going through 2 elections already. And our landslide victor over there, he's been doing a great job. Everybody has. So I appreciate their effort. And I want to say, we've been hearing from you guys a lot because you don't have any problem calling me. My phone number is on the website, and I hear you over the trash stuff. You're not too happy with the way the trash has been picked up, or it's not picked up, or it falls over on its side or whatever. So we're going into executive session here in a minute. We're going to talk about the trash. And I'm hoping we come to some resolution here pretty soon. And if we do, Lacey will put it out on Facebook or whatever, all the social media, IG, is that how you say it now? IG and all the other ways to put it out. And so we'll let you know as soon as we know something. But we're going to be discussing that here shortly, and only for a little while because we all want to go back to watch the football game also. I had planned on reading off all the milestones we accomplished this year, and I left them on my desk. So I will do that January 14th. So all of you who want to come in and listen to that, or you can tune in to Comporium 115 and hear that, and we'll talk about everything that I think the milestones that this council has accomplished. Other than that, I just want to say you guys have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And with that, I will take a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, members of
I have a motion from Heather Overman. Do I have a second? Second from Gus, and it never gets a failing vote. So, time to vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? No. We're in executive session.